let's talk about the glute ham raise. We're going to kind of break this down into two different methods, which is more like a power method, and then one where you're leaning with your hips forward, or you're like in that crunched position with your abs. So that's the preferred method, but that's much more challenging than that power method. So if you don't have the strength yet to do it with that forward position, then use that power method, which I'll show you. Now, if you don't have a glute ham machine in your gym, that's totally okay. A nice replacement for this exercise would be a seated hamstring curl or a lying hamstring curl. So let's kind of break this one down. I'm going to show you the power method first. So we're going to get in position. We want to make sure that when we're in position, our feet we don't have one foot that's non-dominant and sticking out. We want both the feet to be pretty much parallel. From here, we're going to bring the entire body down, and from there, we don't mind a little bit of an arch in the back as we drive our entire body back up. Now, as we drive our body back up, we are curling through the toes, through the calves, through the hamstrings. We're not just creating momentum in the lower back, but as we create that momentum to drive up, we are focused on curling our body up with our hamstrings. If you were doing this on a hamstring machine, the apparatus would move. From here, the apparatus is stationary and your body moves, but you're still curling through your hamstring, and that's important to think about as you start driving up. So let's go over that power method. You're going to come down, create that momentum, and drive up. I'm using a little bit more back here, so I drive all the way down, come up, and as I'm coming up, I'm coming up, I start to reach about here, and my hamstrings need to take over. So I continue to really curl. Now I'm making sure that I have even tension through both legs so that both feet are curling through that back of the machine to allow my calves and hamstrings to engage. It's really a great calf exercise, which is important for just leg stability as well, because the body is a full unit. Don't think about it moving independently, but think about it moving as one. So if you have a weakness in one area, that will affect everything. So let's talk about the preferred method, which is basically allowing your hips to stay forward, and you almost have that crunched position with your abs. So we did the last one with that arched back. This one, we want to crunch our abs. Now the movement's the same, but we create no momentum with our lower back as we come back up, making so much more resistance onto the hamstrings and calves, which is what our goal is for this. We don't really need a lot more low back work because we have this programmed into your training through hip hinge movements pretty consistently throughout. You deadlift, you do things like hip thrusts, good mornings. So we don't need to do a lot more for the low back, but we do want to try to isolate the hamstrings, and this method is going to isolate the hamstrings more. So we're going to bend forward here in our ab. We're not arched, but we're bending forward. We maintain that bend, and from here, we're curling back up into position. We want to make sure we're not creating that momentum as we come up. We keep the abs engaged. We stretch all the way down. We curl through our feet and pull our body up. Now this looks very similar, but it is a lot harder. So if you don't have the strength, use the power method until you can do it this way with the hips staying forward. Just like a low back extension, to add resistance to this, to stay in your preferred rep range based on your program, you can hold a band to your chest or you can hold a plate to your chest. So both of them will be a great way to add more resistance, which you want to get stronger on this, but not at the sacrifice of technique.